So apparently, Valve was reportedly hacked, but this is a false alarm. They've clarified that they were not breached. Apparently, a lot of people ran with this, and one of the funniest ones was Nib95 because he came out with the whataboutism like, oh, when PlayStation Network got hacked, it was only 77 million users. However, now that Valve has been hacked, it's over 89 million accounts, blah, 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 blah. And then they came out and they basically, shut down the report saying that it was something about text messages or something like that from an external provider that were actually pushed out in some way or form. But, it's very interesting. And this cat deletes tweets very fast. Like I saw that tweet, I saw that tweet and went to bed, got up in the morning, dude's already deleted. I've deleted my previous tweet on this, which was merely reporting other game news outlets had reported, so as not to mislead people and instead provide accurate context. Now, anybody in their right minds knows that no company is impervious to a data breach if hackers are really about it. Like, people would more than likely be able to find ways to enter your ecosystem if they wanted to. It's not anything that you really have much of a control over in this regard. I mean, yes, you have control over it. Don't get me wrong, but again, the determination is something that you also have to be determined not to let them in. Those of you who are security experts, you already know this stuff. It's a nightmare to be in charge of security for any of these big companies that hold a lot of user data. That's what these companies want to get. However, I'm sure that there are all kinds of different ways, especially if anybody uses external vendors or whatever it is, that information can be stolen. So nobody is actually, saying that any company is impervious to a data breach. What is funny, though, is the fact that some people are happy to see another company experience a data breach so that they can feel good about the company that they invested their own data in. Valve and Sony are not the same. Sony is very notorious for having very lazy security systems. I mean, chill. If anybody wants to go ahead and look at, say, any kind of data breach in the last few years that has occurred, I mean, you basically know that Sony is not the best in terms of that record. Now, could it be that hackers just find them a lot more valuable to basically hack? Maybe. But it's interesting, though, that somebody would wish this particular reality on another, or at least almost seemingly celebrate in a weird way that this was a thing and then deleted their post. Now, here's something that I've noticed the last few days. This is funny because the walls are closing in on a lot of these folk that are pundits and talking about this stuff. Septic Sauce, Gaz. This is an Xbox, pro Xbox pundit as well, owns his own podcast and stuff. In his last post, Gaz put a little meme. In this post, he put another meme. A very interesting set of events lately. I think something is going down where a lot of people are now starting to notice that these folk are basically, their narrative has now been basically cornered in a specific select little quadrant of the internet. In fact, if you noticed, Nib95 talks about PlayStation's year, but something was very interesting at the end of the day. Does not talk about margin, which has been PlayStation's own biggest challenge at the end of the day. One of the crazy things that people are going to realize now is anyone who's a pundit is going to now be held to a very interesting level of accountability. No one is going to allow for these, folk that are talking heads to get away with a lot of what they've been getting away with for a long time. The news, the data, the information is something that has always been a very, very, I don't know what I'll call it. It's been hidden behind a shroud when you think about it. But now no longer is that going to be the case. People are going to go ahead and hold these folk accountable on many different levels. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PC Gamer article, and let me give the source and the reference here. This was written by Tyler Cope, PC Gamer, and it says this: Valve confirms that nobody hacked into over 89 million Steam accounts and that your passwords are safe. The dark web doesn't have your Steam account on it. Valve has confirmed in a news post after a report on LinkedIn claimed there was a massive data breach for more than 89 million users. You may have seen reports of leaks of older text messages that had previously been sent to Steam customers, Valve wrote. We've examined the leak sample and have determined this was not a breach of Steam systems. The original report happened a few days ago by LinkedIn user Underdark.ai and was picked up by X user Mellow Online today. Underdark's AI post said a dark web forum user claimed to have a data set of over 89 million Steam accounts that they were selling for $5,000. They said the user had sample data for proof and a Telegram number to call if anyone was interested in buying them. I mean, Valve has I just see Valve in their customer centric approach going, we're gonna go rockstar on these people if we find out what they're doing, and probably went ahead and I probably called and said, all right, let's get one of our lawyers to go ahead and make this call, and they probably had somebody on the legal team make the phone call. According to Valve, what they actually had was logs of text messages that came with a 2-factor authorization code to enter when you log into Steam. Those codes are only active for 15 minutes and aren't tied to your Steam account, password, payment information, or any other personal data. The only thing they do include is a phone number. Old text messages cannot be used to breach the security of your Steam account, and whenever a code is used to breach your Steam email or password using SMS, you will receive a confirmation via email and or Steam secure message, Valve wrote. You do not need to change your passwords or phone numbers as a result of this event. Now that we can all breathe again, it's worth remembering how important it is to keep your Steam account secure. As hundreds of other games, so you should join me in keeping that library locked up tight. Valve recommends checking the authorized devices page on Steam regularly to make sure nobody is accessing your account and to have the Steam mobile authenticator set up. I strongly believe that this is something that even as a gamer, yes, Steam may have strong security, you have to take a very good look at. It's good to once in a while go ahead and assess your security because this is something that can easily be forgotten. It's another thing to try to make it seem like, oh, another company has finally gotten it in a sense, but PlayStation, when they had it had it worse. It's just weird to try to make that kind of a, I don't know what I will say, comparison. It's just a fanboy mindset. That's what it is. If anybody is actually thinking about it, you'll realize that that's exactly where this thing is coming from at the end of the day. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching the video. Appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.